Live from the top of Tower Hill in the heart of the beautiful city of Sierra Leone, Freetown. Send us your comments through our social media handles on AYV News on Facebook, and on YouTube it's AYV Media Empire.
But of course, as part of the stories we shall be covering here this morning, the Ministry of Youth Affairs this week will host a 3-day regional youth forum, bringing together young people from the 4 Mano River Union countries, Sierra Leone, Guinea, Liberia, Cote d'Ivoire, on the theme One Generation, One Region, One Generation, One Future. We'll discuss the fate of young people.
When will the Sierra Leone Bar Association hold their elections, which have been postponed indefinitely? We'll have a conversation with the president of the Sierra Leone Bar Association, Tuma Adama Jabbi. She will also talk about her 2 years in office, the successes, the challenges, and the controversies surrounding the Bar Association.
And also, we shall bring you a report on xenophobia situation in South Africa and its impact on Africa in general, while also commemorating the Day of the African Child today.
But before we delve deeper into all of this, let's get a word from our sponsor, Rokel Commercial Bank, and it would be followed by other advertisers. Please grab yourself a cup of tea or coffee and stay with us. We'll be right back.
More and more people are using Rokel SIM Copper Plus in their everyday lives. Did you hear that? She just transferred money for her daughter's school fees. And this man just paid for some products. Ah, Mr. Abu, are you sending money to your wife again?
Yes, like Rokel SIM Copper.
Ah.
Yes, like having money in my pocket.
Ah, excellent.
Thank you.
He just bought some eggs. The world is digital, so keep up with the times. Have you got a payment to make? If so, just download Rokel SIM Copper Plus now. You can download the Rokel SIM Copper Plus app from Apple iStore and iPad or Google Play Store for Android users. You see, it's fast, safe, and reliable.
Sorry, car, go see some business partners.
You didn't give me memory, Michael. Can if I can say you give me this people in not to Indy.
Today you pay me money. I don't send it for let you help me send money in Ghana. 2 weeks now you not send me money and 10 you not give me back me money. Today, give me money.
You know ever sabi goodness in life. I send back your money, but trust me, today na the very last day I ever send money for now.
I don't need your help because I don't know so with Afri money. I able send money. Now Baku Africa countries them.
With Afri money, we'll be able to send money to over 10 African countries, whether it's Ghana, Gambia, Liberia, or Kenya. If me party we know this, we know for the body grammar right now.
Okay, una go regret. I mean now, una go regret.
The best part right now, Michael, with Afri money, you dey able send money even if you not use app, even if you know the online directly. All you need for do is just a dial *161#. Pam, your money don't go. So I don't need the help again. Thief man.
Thank you.
Send money to over 10 African countries instantly with Afri Money. No stress, no excuses. Just dial *161*1*6# now. Afri Money, quick and easy.
Every day feels better with peace of mind, and peace of mind starts with preparation. Unexpected moments can happen anytime, but with the right insurance, you're always one step ahead. At J-Man Insurance, we help you protect what matters most: your life, your family, your future. Don't wait for what if. Prepare for what's next. Get covered today and move forward with confidence.
your face again. It's been a very crazy day. The joyous feeling in the air when rain falls on a sunny day.
Happy, yeah. Let the stars, let the roll.
Enjoy life's little pleasures with Maltina. Maltina. Share happiness.
As mama, I always want waiting best for me picking them, especially when it comes up waiting them for eat and drink. Now this make I always they choose Sierra juice because they make come from with local food them and nutritious and it gets less sugar than the other drinks them. Not to me say so.
We lab test show say Sierra juice gets 50% less sugar than the other drinks them na the market.
Because we mama they know waiting best for we picking them, now make we always they choose Sierra juice. Sierra juice is nutritious, it's healthy and it's sweet. Sierra juice, not the taste of Salone.
More and more people are using Rokel SIM Copper Plus in their everyday lives. Did you hear that? She just transferred money for her daughter's school fees. And this man just paid for some products. Ah, Mr. Abu, are you sending money to your wife again?
Yes, Rokel SIM Copper.
Ah.
Yes, like having money in my pocket.
Ah, excellent.
Thank you.
He just bought some eggs. The world is digital, so keep up with the times. Have you got a payment to make? If so, just download Rokel SIM Copper Plus now. You can download the Rokel SIM Copper Plus app from Apple iStore and iPad or Google Play Store for Android users. You see, it's fast, safe and reliable.
Sorry, Carl, go see some business partners.
You didn't give me memory, Michael.
Can if I can say you give me this camp people in no to in day.
Today you dey pay me money. I don't send it for let you help me send money in Ghana. 2 weeks now you not send me money and 10 you not give me back me money. Today you dey give me money.
You know ever sabi goodness in life. I dey send back money, but trust me today na the very last day I dey ever send money for now.
I don't need your help because I don't know so with Afri money I dey able send money now baku Africa countries them.
With Afri money, we dey able send money to over 10 African countries, whether it's Ghana, Gambia, Liberia or Kenya. If me party know this, we not follow the party grammar right now.
Okay, una go regret. I mean now una go regret.
The best part right now, Michael, with Afri money, you dey able send money even if you not use app, even if you know the online directly. All you need for do is just a dial *161#. Pam, your money don't go. So I don't need the help again. Thief man.
Thank you.
Send money to over 10 African countries instantly with Afri Money. No stress, no excuses. Just dial *161 *1*6# now. AfriMoney. Quick and easy.
Every day feels better with peace of mind, and peace of mind starts with preparation. Unexpected moments can happen anytime, but with the right insurance, you're always one step ahead. At J-Man Insurance, we help you protect what matters most: your life, your family, your future. Don't wait for what if. Prepare for what's next. Get covered today and move forward with confidence.
Yes, welcome back. A quick reminder, this is Wake Up Sierra Leone on AYV TV and radio. Now, June 16 is the Day of the African Child. The norm across the continent is dressing school pupils nicely in African outfits as they head to school to commemorate the day, mostly dramatizing Sarafina, keeping alive the history of the Soweto massacre. But the recent outburst of some South Africans against fellow black people has dampened the mood for this year's commemoration. Families with loved ones in South Africa are worried if they will get to see their loved ones alive again. As AYV's Fabian Swill reports, the situation has deteriorated far more than the South African government is willing to admit, as anti-migrant protests have given foreign Africans till the 30th of June to leave their country or face consequences. Let's take a look at the piece from Fabian Swill.
Today marks exactly 50 years since the apartheid regime massacred hundreds of children in Soweto. Their crime? Protesting peacefully for quality education and the right to be taught in their native languages instead of the language of the oppressor. In solidarity with Black South Africa, the then OAU designated June 16 as the Day of the African Child in 1991. But half a century later, Africans have become targets of hate in South Africa, as xenophobia, some call it Afrophobia, resurfaces on the streets. This violence and political agitation have exposed deep fractures in Africa's most industrialized economy. Tensions recently escalated when groups staged patrols outside clinics and hospitals in KwaZulu-Natal, demanding identification from patients before entry. This controversial practice has ignited outrage across Africa, a continent that opened its doors to South Africans during their liberation struggle, to the extent that many Africans supported Mexico against South Africa in the opening match of the World Cup 2026. Violence against foreign nationals first erupted on a mass scale in May 2008. Over 60 people were killed. Tens of thousands were displaced, according to reports by Human Rights Watch and XenoWatch, which estimates hundreds of deaths linked to repeated outbreaks since then. It is estimated that at least 10 foreign nationals have already been killed in recent incidents. South African authorities dispute the figures. In recent years, organized movements such as Operation Dudula and the March and March campaign have gained visibility. They argue they are defending jobs, services, and national resources. Critics say they are weaponizing desperation. Jacinta Gobise Zuma, founder of one such movement, defends the actions as civic enforcement of immigration laws.
March and March was established in 2025. We have seen hundreds of anti-illegal immigration protests, emphasizing anti-illegal immigration protests because we get a lot of media people not being able to state it correctly. A clarion call on government to enforce the existing laws and amend some of the laws, including the Constitution. We have noted that many lazy thinkers who have labeled this progressive and patriotic movement as xenophobic have portrayed March and March, together with other progressive civil society movements and groups, as vigilante groups, and we will soon attend to such sentiments. We have started to take legal action against some media houses who have blatantly misled the public, calling us names, accusing us of being on the payroll of certain people and government. This war against illegal immigration will not stop because some in the media don't like it, or they're married to people who are not South African, or government feels uncomfortable when we fight. We will fight until the last illegal immigrant leaves our country.
On the political front, voices like Julius Malema, leader of the Economic Freedom Fighters, argues that blaming migrants masks deeper structural inequality. He says poverty, unemployment, and inequality, not foreigners, are the true crises.
I think that we should all accept that the violence is a state-sponsored violence, because the people who are committing all these crimes are accompanied by the police, and the state broadcaster and the mainstream media is giving them unlimited airtime to spread hate and to incite violence. We've seen in many videos where people manhandle other people in the presence of the police, take them from one building to the other in the name of looking for drugs in the presence of the police.
So what is now happening in South Africa is a real disappointment for the global African community, whether it's in Africa or whether it's in the diaspora, because South Africa's liberation that started in 1992 with the release of Nelson Mandela from prison was a culmination of a Pan-African effort. This was actually one of the great coming together of Africans to kind of fight and work together to get South Africa out of apartheid. Countries in that region, Zimbabwe hosted ANC, African National Congress fighters. Zambia was the headquarters for Oliver Tambo for the ANC. They suffered. Mozambique, Samora Machel was killed because of those involvement in supporting the cause in South Africa. Countries like Sierra Leone, schools were hosting students from South Africa and Namibia, but also I remember as a young person in Sierra Leone going to school where we were contributing money as a country with your little pennies to support South Africa's liberation, right? And so this is now coming as a great shock to the African.
Supporters of anti-migrant sentiment point to rising unemployment and crime as justification, but economists warn that such narratives often simplify a complex reality shaped by global migration flows and uneven development. South Africa remains Africa's most industrialized economy, yet it carries one of the world's highest unemployment rates, according to the World Bank.
We cannot want to use our economic situation to justify a hatred. There's always been a contestation of resources. It has always been like that, but we're able to coexist even when resources have been so limited.
Our township economy has been hijacked by Somalians and foreign nationals from Pakistan and Ethiopia. In Durban alone, over 340 permits have been given to foreign nationals to operate in the Durban CBD as we sit here currently. The strain in our public facilities is getting out of hand, with the departments such as health, education, and social development struggling to service South Africans properly because they end up having to service a lot more foreign nationals than they should. The underfunding of the BMA is also a grave concern to us, and that requires urgent intervention. It is pointless to fund the Department of Labor so that they can employ 10,000 inspectors when your borders are wide open. This is poor planning from the government, because those 10,000 inspectors should be assisting the only 800 immigration officers that we have in the entire country. We have noted hundreds of thousands of migrants coming to our country as tourists and then end up as refugees, and business people as well as criminals or even employers. The time has come for government now to close the tap and deport all of these immigrants.
But with intermittent xenophobic attacks against other Africans in South Africa, it begs the question, should other Africans continue to commemorate June 16 as the Day of the African Child?
Yeah, I think that this should not dissuade Africans. We should continue to commemorate June 16, the Day of the African Child. We should continue to kind of reciprocate hate from South Africans, and it's sometimes even a tiny minority, but reciprocate the hate with love. The rest of Africa should really try to think around reciprocating hate with love, because June 16 has grown beyond South Africa. June 16 has to deal with us now. We have to think around June 16 not as the idea around it was based to commemorate South Africa, but let's think about it. What is the situation of the African child in each and every country? And it's important for us to have that conversation each year, not thinking around what is the origin, but actually looking at what is the status. Do they have a future to think around?
If you are South African and you are in Ghana, there is no cause for alarm. We cannot sack Africans from Africa. We believe that this is equally your home. We are not animals like your brothers and sister Jacinta who are back in South Africa. We are wiser than Jacinta a millionfold, and that is why we are leading by this demonstration. So if you are a South African, please be rest assured, no youth of Ghana is going to enter your shop. No youth of Ghana is going to enter your promises. No youth of Ghana is going to take your cars or take over what belongs to you like they are doing to our brother Sabato somewhere. However, if you are South African in Ghana or any part of Africa and you are against what is going on, we expect that you also join us. We expect that you also do press conferences. We expect that you also do press releases.
I personally believe that the first step for us is to really sit down and call each other out. So I am happy with with what is really happening between Ghana and South Africa currently, where Ghana is making South Africa accountable for what is currently happening in my country, but also South Africa responding to Ghana in a diplomatic manner. We need to have these kinds of conversation, but also internally in our own countries, we need to have these kinds of discussions where we are talking very clear, very loudly, and becoming honest with each other on what we need to do to build each other. But there is a need for us to really reconcile rather with each other on how we need to go about in healing one another. Because the truth matter is there has been countries that have helped South Africa during apartheid, and we need to find a way to retain the favor. But rather South Africans are also saying that we have been hosting non-South Africans who are Africans for more than 30 years, and our democracy is also very new. We have countries that have lived more than 50 years in independence, and they should be far ahead than South Africa.
Finally, moving forward, if there's going to be some form of accountability, those lives, again, that have been lost by other nationals who have been living in South Africa, what do you think should be done going forward to resolve the issues around what's leading to the xenophobia?
Firstly, I would say that if we truly believe in Pan-Africanism, then we should be concerned when citizens are denied opportunities, when democratic institutions are weakened, when minorities are persecuted, or when government fail to protect the dignity of their own people. The African Union, the regional bodies, the civil society, and the citizens of each and every country should be willing to speak honestly about governance failures whenever they occur.
In 2026, on Freedom Day on April 27, President Cyril Ramaphosa condemned vigilante-style enforcement and urged unity among African nations. He reaffirmed the historical bonds forged during South Africa's liberation struggle when many African countries offered sanctuary.
Yes, we all have concerns as many other countries in the world, have concerns about undocumented and illegal migrants. We must not allow these concerns to give rise to xenophobia, to give rise to hatred that is directed towards people from other African countries or any parts of the world. We are South Africans. We cannot be driven by hatred towards others. Others gave us compassion. They gave us support. And we cannot be driven by hatred towards them. Instead, we must insist that the law of our country be upheld and enforced.
Diplomatically, the issue has escalated. The government of Ghana has petitioned the African Union calling for urgent intervention over attacks on foreign nationals. Several countries, including Nigeria and Kenya, have issued travel advisories. The African Union is expected to deliberate the matter in upcoming sessions. In South Africa, the promise of freedom walks a narrow bridge over fear. A nation once united against apartheid now negotiates the fragile borders between belonging and exclusion. And in that tension, Africa watches, searching for whether unity is still possible in a continent learning to live with itself. Fabian Sweel, AYV News, Freetown, Sierra Leone.
Right, many thanks to Fabian Sweel for that report. We now return to our studios here. Now, early this month, with just a few days to go, the Sierra Leone Bar Association indefinitely postponed its elections scheduled for the 6th of June 2026. The controversial decision, which many members of the bar came out to condemn, came 2 years after the election of its current president, Tuma Adama Jabbi. Her credibility of her election was questioned by some members of the bar, leading to a big split that gave birth to the Lawyers Society.
With us in the studio this morning is the president of the Sierra Leone Bar Association, Tuma Adama Jabbi. Good morning, Madam President. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
It's been 2 years in office. Yeah. How has the office of the president of the Sierra Leone Bar Association been?
It's been okay. It's full with the positives and, of course, some negatives, but it's been okay. We've done our level best to deliver on our promises that we made to our members, and just in 2 years, we've delivered on so much.
Your presidency, since the situation in Kenema, since the AGM and election in Kenema, it started off on controversy. Well, even from campaign, with fingers being pointed to your membership with the Sierra Leone People's Party. Your opponents were justifying that as a reason why you should not have been voted as president. To what happened in Kenema that led to the division in the Sierra Leone Bar Association. How has this affected you, your legacy, your personality as president of the Sierra Leone Bar Association?
Personally, I don't think it's affected my personality or my legacy, because there's nothing in the law or our M&A to say that if you belong to any political party, then you shouldn't partake. So that is why I contested that in the first place when they were raising it up. It's like they were just looking for justifications, because we've got past presidents and executive members that have openly belonged to different political parties, and it has never been used against them. It was just, I would say, a cheap campaign message that few were using against me. That is why I decided to run. But of course, as you said, that was leading up to the 2024 elections, even before getting to Kenema. I challenged that with my words, with my messaging, and with standing firm to make sure that I run. We got to Kenema, we saw few trying to put out this picture out there, even though they may have started whatever happened about that there was this, whatever it is that was in Kenema. And as I always boastfully say, you won't see a single video, even though I was in that hall from start to finish, but you won't see a single video of me in that hall causing any form of mayhem.
What do you think about the elections itself that, you know, saw you emerge as president of the Sierra Leone Bar Association? It has had a lot of controversies within the Bar Association, from the allegation of a truck that was positioned in the middle of the road on the highway, preventing others from making it to the hall, to the conduct of the elections itself. What do you, as an individual standing on your principles, think about the entire conduct of that election?
Firstly, let's talk about the truck. I've got no idea as to about what happens on the highway. We are all traveling on that highway every single day. We do see breakdowns. We do see a whole lot. So I have no idea about a breakdown truck. Now let's speak about the conduct. The other side, or some other people, came and said, oh, they've appointed a returning officer. They weren't happy about it, and they thought doing what they did on that day would prevent it. No, we're there for the AGM. We did the first day, it went successful. Second day, like any other company law, you can amend an agenda. That was rightfully done, got to the hall. Some people weren't happy about it, and they decided that they would do what they do. It was for an election, and the election went on. The same people, if that election, the way it went, and they had also been voted in, they would be the same thing. They wouldn't have never condemned anything because they would have emerged the winner. Just because Tuma emerged the winner, that is why we have all some of the negative comments or feedbacks that they've been doing. But as I said, personally, I did not take part in any of the unruling or mayhem on that day. I sat there, people went up the stage, voted for me, and I emerged the winner.
Again, standing on your principles and integrity, hand to chest, would you say that was a free, fair, and credible election held in Kenema?
Yes, because the other side decided not to vote. My own people said we're going to vote, and they voted. And that's, again, is their democratic and constitutional right for you not to vote. They said they were not going to vote. They were somewhere standing outside, somewhere in the hall, and the returning officer said, no, voting has to go on. The election is going on. If I were them, I would have taken part in that election.
You face a tense battle ahead for the upcoming elections. Tense in a sense, you're contesting with another female. So even the gender card cannot be pulled off. You're contesting with someone you also say is a member of the same political party you're affiliated with.
Correct.
In retrospection, what do you think went so wrong that now people within your party are backing your opponent that is seeking to succeed you in office? How did this relationship go south within your party?
No. Nothing went south within the party. That shows how the Sierra Leone People's Party is democratic. It shows how democratic they are. Even within the Sierra Leone People's Party, we have people, even though they may have not have come out yet, but we're not going to have one flag bearer aspirant. No way. You're going to have more than one. It shows how democratic we are.
But
then with the gender card...
But that is not what we see across elections. Flag bearer elections are sort of different from this context. In some of these elections mostly, it's just one candidate a team would put forward and rally their strength around making sure that candidate wins. You've done one term. You had overwhelming support from many of these people who now, on social media publicly, throw their weight behind your opponent, Martina.
I wouldn't say I've had overwhelming support from them. I want that evidence shown in my 2 years. I haven't had overwhelming support for some of those people that are coming up now. No way. I haven't. And again, what is wrong if somebody within your space wants to come up? It's not dictatorship. If somebody wants to come up, they come up. We all show our strength. And usually I don't play the gender card. Since I was called to the bar almost 16 years ago, it's a male-dominated profession. I have been in the courtroom from start to this moment I'm sitting here. I've never shied away from it. And most times when I'm in court, it's against the male. And I haven't had any issues with that, because even though I believe in the women empowerment thing, and I've worked very hard pushing that, but when I'm campaigning, I don't say, oh, I'm a female, so because of that, I've got the edge. Even my last campaign in 2024, I don't believe I evoked that line, because I still think that if a man can do it, a woman can do it better. So it's not something that I heavily rely on. I rely on my strength. I rely on my advantages. I rely on my positives. That's what I try to push forward. We're all humans. No one is perfect. I've got my advantages and my disadvantages. And I tend to work on my flaws as much as I can.
Madam Jabbi, you've been vocal and you've clearly stated that you do not recognize Lawyers Society
Correct.
as an association or an organization of lawyers. You're running for a mandate wherein this mandate for the past 2 years has been questioned. Aren't you concerned that these people who question your mandate are going to vote you out of office this second term? Why
not? They should come. They've registered. And there's no way we're going to disenfranchise them. If you're registered, you are going to vote.
And you've stated that your opponent, a sister of yours, you both belong to the same political ideology. Isn't this, a game wherein you guys are actually from the same camp and you're just posing as two different bodies under the Bar Association and going against those who went against you?
Two different bodies, you said?
You are from the same political ideology outside the bar. So in the bar, isn't this like one piece dividing into two, sort of to keep the other party away from contesting?
Not really. And besides, why are we making this political? As in, when I say political, we're not talking about the bar politics. Where are we making this, bringing national politics into it? We're supposed to be independent. Yes, I can belong to a political party, but let's keep the bar independent. That is what I want us to do. Don't focus on the political party we belong to. They have nothing to do with the Sierra Leone Bar Association, and they're not influencing it in any way, shape, or form.
Let's take a look at the postponement itself. The elections were scheduled to take place on the 6th of June, yet they were postponed indefinitely, just days before voting. Why was such a significant decision taken at the last minute rather than a month in advance to inform everyone?
Firstly, the whole thing came out about a month. The notice itself for the AGM came out a month before. Now, I always say I like to be frank. And as I said, I'm not perfect. So is no one else. Now, when we usually do our programs, we have roughly about 500 to 600 lawyers. And we had a notice from Lawyers Society to say they're not going to partake in the elections.
The same society you do not recognize?
Of course. I don't recognize them, but I'm telling you about what I saw and what you may have seen. It doesn't mean they won't put out notices. So to say they will not take part in it. So roughly, give and take, we'll need to have an estimate as to how many lawyers will project that will attend. Even with them, they had their AGM as well sometime this year or so, and it wasn't even up to 200 lawyers or so present. So when you're planning for these events, you would forecast roughly the amount of people that you come. And we forecasted around about 500 to 600 lawyers coming up. So based on that, we chose a venue in Lunge. And after we opened up the registration, or we opened it up from February, and up to the time the notice came out a month before the AGM, we had roughly the amount of people that had registered then. Because the notice for paying up was from February. The only notice that came up for the AGM was a month before the AGM, stating the venue and the time for when, the date and time for when it would be. And then we had a whole lot of interest, people coming up, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I owe as the president and my executive, we are the leaders, we owe a duty of care to our colleagues. We realized, one, the venue will not be conducive. It cannot take the amount of people. And we need to put our colleagues in a conducive environment. We spoke to the venue, we spoke to the owners and see whether that's possible. Bearing in mind that what happened in Kenema, there was so much destruction that there was money paid by the former executive to the owners of that building for destructions caused. We're going to a beautiful venue in Lunge. We don't want to keep destroying people in case anything happened. We don't even need to have any chaos. But if the space is too small, then there will be a little bit of destruction. Because let's say a venue is supposed to take 500, then you put about 1,300 lawyers in there. Health and safety issues, human rights issues. So what we said was, no, we need to put people in the space that can take them for health and safety issues. That's one. And I hear people saying, you did indefinite. Within the law, I've got 3 months from the time I'm supposed to hold the election. We said shortly, and definitely as the lawyer, there is no way we will go out of the 3 months to hold, not to bring the notice out, but to hold the AGM. What do we do in situations like that, when something like that arises? You're starting from fresh, sort of, in a sense, looking for a venue that will take these people, looking for somewhere conducive that will be able to hold the AGM. No matter what people that are not supporting me may say, but I still owe a duty to them to make sure that I give them a good AGM and in a conducive environment.
Madam Jabbi, what precludes the Bar Association from holding its AGM in Freetown, where every lawyer...
Nothing precludes.
So why not hold it in Freetown within the next 3 months as per the stipulated time?
I've just said to you, we still need... I can come to Freetown. Can I come in here? No. What does that mean? It means even if I'm coming to Freetown, I need to look for a venue. I need to pay for the venue. And I need to make sure that the dates are available. I cannot, in that notice we were doing at the time, me and my executive, and say it's going to be, for example, on the 10th and 11th of June or July. On the 10th and 11th June, July, should have a venue. Have you acquired it? Have you rented it? Have you made it up? So these are the issues. So people are making it such a big deal. What notices comes with venue, it comes with dates, it comes with time.
This sounds, Madam President, like very poor planning from your executive.
No.
Within your executive, you are aware of timelines that an AGM is to be held and that you would be having an elections. That's a timeline that did not come to you by surprise. Your members were also prepared. They had challenges accessing the registrar to be able to, you saw the notices, the videos online.
Because these are cosmetics.
They had challenges, but the question I'm landing on is, why does it seem you were so ill-prepared as an executive that it's only now you're talking about arrangements for venues, something you could have done months in advance, understanding you have a calendar?
And we did that. What did we do? We booked Lunge based on the registration. I'm still making it clear. I don't want us to be selective with my words. Have an open mind, and I've said this to other journalists. Let's be fair to the people of Sierra Leone. Let's not be skewed. We open up registration at the start of the year. To the start of the year to when the notices came out, we had about 300 and something members that had signed up. You don't wait for the last minute to go register if you do so care about the organization or the institution. Then we had it opened up and it came up. It wasn't never poor planning or ill planned as you have labeled it. Not correct, because we've had programs that these are the people, because it's been opened up from February. You don't wait last minute to go register. Then let's talk about they going up and not meeting the registrar. No, you don't pay cash to us.
Was that a political
You pay, no, it's not. You pay into a bank account and you've paid, you've got your receipts. What makes you think that you won't be entitled to attend the AGM? Because you think you come up with a cosmetic thing on social media and you think you would then, no, some of us will not keep quiet anymore. We'll speak up to it. I've had people, because I'm coming on TVs and radios, to say, oh, she's going there, why doesn't she get her PRO to go? I'm the one running for presidency of the bar. I don't shy away from the media. I can speak, I'm very vocal. I can speak up, I know my issues, and I can articulate them very well. You went there, you've paid into the account. You said you got there and you start calling SLBC, AYV, and all these TV stations to come to say, we don't have access.
So
You've
in
paid.
essence, you're saying whether or not they had access to the treasurer, they would still have been able to get the opportunity to attend the AGM and vote.
Why
if they
not?
had paid at the banks.
They have paid at the banks. All we do is to give the slips, regularize it, and get the list ready.
And that
Why should we
regularization process is what they had a challenge or concern with.
No.
The treasurer was not easily accessible.
The treasurer doesn't need to be there. The treasurer doesn't need to be there. When they made a whole wind about it that was very unnecessary, what we did, I said, okay, we don't need to make us notice to this, but we'll do it. Since people want us to now go to kindergarten and start telling you, take one step, take two steps, do this, we made a notice. And what was the notice? We said, go to the secretariat, leave your slips, write your name, and sign next to it. It's all dated. And they did that. When they did that, did they get back to you? No. So it's always the negativity that comes out. And they've all done it. They didn't come back to you with that. They didn't make a whole woo-ha about it. You know, let's be honest with ourselves. That is why I said, sometimes in this country, hypocrisy stinks. That is why I graced this occasion and come here to speak. It's about time we speak up to these issues.
Madam Jabbi, some members also have accused the executive that they are not consulted in some of the decisions you make. For instance, you know, the postponement. Members have alleged that they were not consulted.
You don't need to be consulted. We're the executive.
How much consultation was held with members or shareholders?
My M&A doesn't give me the mandate to consult them. I am the executive. It's very clear in the executive decisions we can make.
And they are asking for clarification. Why was
What's the clarification?
Why was the postponement
Haven't
done?
I just done that? You want me to repeat it again?
Yes,
I've made that clear.
Why was the postponement done? Was it because of logistical reasons or the bar was unprepared?
I've just made it clear. And my press release was clear. You don't want me to repeat that again.
Okay. When eventually the elections, you know, date would be announced for the next election?
Very soon.
Are all members going to be eligible to vote or only those who have registered? And is there an open window for anyone who wants to vie again for positions to also come forward?
Yes, of course. Guess what? You see, that is it. I know you're a lawyer, so I'm going to encourage you to read the M&A of the Sierra Leone Bar Association. All what we're doing, or even me saying it now, maybe I might just say it for members to be au fait that I am running up. But the declaration is done in the hall on the day when it's declared vacant and they say nominations open. So you can have anyone, as long as you're fully paid up and you're a member of the Bar Association, you can vie at that minute. Somebody can nominate you. Nothing in law stops you.
And this has been the concern of some lawyers. Now, albeit the fact that there is a comparison between the Bar Association and the Sierra Leone Association of Journalists, another concern that came up is the fact that the voters list, those who are eligible to vote, is not published until during election time. Members have called on this executive to ensure that names are collated, the list is published so that I can be aware that I am eligible to vote, not to go at the hall, you know, and then only find out that my name is not on the list and I can't vote. It might be typographical error. It might not even be the fact that I didn't register, but maybe my name was not captured on the list. Why wouldn't the Bar Association provide the voting list even a day or two before elections so that members can know that they're eligible, their names are spelled correctly, and that they can take part during the elections?
Now, these are questions that I like because then we'll be able to clear the real issues, yeah? Now, let's... in law, which you know, we've got traditions, we've got customs, we've got acts of parliament, we've got common law and all. What has been the tradition at the bar? Never has it been, never, since I could remember. Maybe it happened before I became a lawyer 16 years ago, but never have I seen the list of registered voters published a day or two or any time before the elections. Now, I'm not saying it cannot happen. What we had to do, as you have rightly stated, some members decided to push away from since 2024, or way even before that. Even before that, I can put it to you that when, maybe even the last executive, when they were there, they were in court till they left that office. They were taken to court. So that tells you that you've had few members that have reservations not coming through to the SLBA, the organization itself. But let me say something. One of the things that we'll need to do that we have picked up is to amend the M&A. You're making reference to or comparison to SLAJ. They have their constitution reflecting what you're saying. What we need to do is amend. Now, not that we couldn't have amended, or my executive couldn't have amended, but then some would have again labeled it, and I would have been here on this seat to say, oh, they're amending it to suit them. They know we're not there now. I kept calling on the other side. Let's come together for the sake of amending the M&A to reflect all of this. And this is something I want us to do, not only on my side, but on all sides that are lawyers, to come on board and let's amend the M&A to reflect some of those things that you are saying. There are other things that need amending. I hear some people, some lawyers talking about even the M&A is absolute, they need to amend, they need to this. But some of these people were in the executive in the past. What did they do to amend that M&A? I'm not shying away to amend it, but I'm saying I want everyone to be on that table. So when we amend it, they don't say it's my side that amended it to fit me.
Being that you are the current president of the association, and again, you are a member, have been before, and perhaps you intend to continue to be even after your presidency.
Yeah, of course.
As a lawyer and now the leader, what reforms do you think the Sierra Leone Bar Association needs to prevent a reoccurrence of the controversy that surrounded the elections in Kenema going forward?
Amending the M&A. That's what I've made clear.
What specific parts? What
there are lots of parts. There are lots of parts. Now, what's leading to what happened in Kenema? Well, Kenema, I would say, was something boiling up to it. As I said, even the last executive, they were in court from the start of their tenure to the end. I want you to note this. So it's not that this whole thing started in 2024. No, it didn't. So let's talk about elections, if that's what you want to talk about. What we'd want to do is maybe amend that side. There are other sides that need amending, but I will need more than a day to speak about that, and we don't have the time.
Yeah, but what's your suggestion as a member of the bar? Amendment, yes, but what amendment? What should be amended? What do you think needs to be done?
Well, you need to look at, it was originally my suggestion, even to few members over 6 months back, to say maybe it's about time we'll need to amend to include an electoral body. When you have an electoral body that will deal with elections, then what your colleague here was talking about with regards voters list in advance, doing X, Y, Z, blah, 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 then you'll be more specific or you'll be more detailed. For now, it isn't. That's one. Two, people talk about politics. I don't want us to shy away from it. That's why I don't shy away from where I belong, because I do it within the law. There's no way you can say people are completely apolitical. I don't buy that in Sierra Leone. No way. No one tells me that, and I believe it. Not at this age or this stage in my life. But what you can do, there are certain measures you can put in place, i.e., if you hold certain maybe executive positions within a political party, or you hold certain offices, then you cannot vie for certain positions within your organization. Because when we're applying to do law, they don't tell us if you belong to a political party, you shouldn't apply to do law. They don't tell us because you belong to a political party, you shouldn't be called to the bar. That's the professional course at the law school. They don't tell us that. So what's wrong? Why would you want to discriminate against me or against someone because they belong to a political party? So what you can do is to put mechanisms in place. When all of that is put into place and the boxes are ticked, then that could be reduced. Then you can't be using most of these things against the person. But if it's not there, then it's not something maybe you can come up with. But what I'm saying is there are so many things that needs to be looked into, even apart from elections. And the other thing that we can do, there were resolutions back then to say you have to be 10 years and above for you to vie for the position of presidency. Now, these are some things that we need to put all in the M&A. Because we have so many lawyers now, should it still be 10 years? Should it be lower? Should it be upper? So these are some of the things that we need to look into as a team.
Can you still run with an M&A and a constitution? Do you see it prudent at this time for the Bar Association to not only have an M&A but also get a constitution?
No, you can't. We're a company. We're a company limited by guarantee. And they know that. He's a lawyer. You can't have an M&A and a constitution. No. That's legal suicide. No way.
Is it time for the Bar Association's reform to also even go beyond just the surface of the problems and figure out, is it still apt to remain a company?
These are the issues that maybe we need to come to the table to talk about. But again, what effect does it have? Whether it's a company, whether it's not a company, whether it doesn't have, to me, it doesn't have any legal effect. What we need to do is to strengthen the laws that govern us.
Madam Jabbi, one would argue that one of the legal effects will be that the Bar Association would only listen to shareholders and board of directors and its executive. And I will peg this to the directive that was given by the Attorney General and Minister of Justice for the elections to go ahead. The bar has the right to say, no, you can't direct us. And in that case, that was what happened. Isn't it prudent that, as Fiben has stated, that the bar at this stage, the oldest bar in Africa, sub-Saharan Africa, should think going beyond? Or are you hiding behind the cloaks of
Why should I hide? Do I look like someone that hides?
Is the bar hiding? And the association itself, is it hiding behind the cloaks of incorporation? Why not just have
Who incorporated it? I didn't incorporate it decades ago.
But you can change it, sure.
Nothing. This is why I say let's come to the table. We're still going around in circles with my suggestions. I said let's come to the table.
What prevented you from doing all these in your 2 years? Was it the infighting, the
I've just made it clear. Listen, I'm not somebody that hides. When you see me, you know how I feel. I don't hide. I don't pretend. I did say we were going to do it, and we did set up a committee to do it. But again, with the kind of people that we're dealing with, if we would have amended it at that time, they would say, there were some fractions that were unhappy, that were not happy, and did not come closer to the organization. So you have done the amendments, or you've done something that suits you, even though it will not be the case. And I'll be here again defending.
Now that the election is postponed, why wasn't there an extension for subscription for those who didn't meet with the initial date to now resubscribe and be part of the AGM?
Like I said to you, since the start of the year, those notices have come out for payments. People had over 6 months or 5 months to pay. I have no idea why they didn't. And the reason why there's always a cutoff is for people to properly plan for the event. We have to make sure that we reconcile, we get things ready. Whilst reconciling, I don't like speaking about it because it might have been an error. We haven't gone into it. We've had 1 or 2 that we've tried to check. I'm not saying that was deliberate, don't get me wrong. Wherein we've realized that some people paid into the account, maybe because the notice went public, as in out of the legal circle, because it's a membership notice, but it went public. It's not something hidden. We've had 1 or 2 that have paid that are not lawyers. This is why we do these verifications. I'm not saying it's deliberate. I'm not saying anybody's trying to do anything. It could be an error.
Clarify, please. Who are not lawyers or are not members of the Bar Association?
No, who are not lawyers. No, listen, I've said here I don't recognize Lawyer Society. So most of these people, as long as you pay up, you are a legal practitioner. Of course I recognize you. I recognize them as lawyers.
On the issue of this payment, isn't it ironical that, you know, any member can get up, you know, at the AGM and say, I want to challenge Madam Jabbi, but I cannot register after the stipulated time, you know, to vote for a candidate going into the AGM. Now that you've extended or you've postponed the elections, why not again extend the subscription period?
No, we're not going. Your colleague just said earlier that ill-prepared. We don't want to be ill-prepared. We're going to be well-prepared. So we're not going to open it up. It's been opened up since February. So they should have any prudence.
Aren't you concerned that you're disenfranchising your
No, I'm not concerned because I gave them the opportunity. I did. You're a lawyer. We know what we call time-bound. Even in the laws, they're there for other things. So we gave you a time.
You have been to some of the members within the Bar Association and those who also follow you. They have had some allegations against your person.
Right.
Say you're arrogant and you sort of don't listen or pay much attention to their concerns. What would you say for yourself?
Firstly, I want to make it very clear that I'm not arrogant. I'm one of the nicest persons that you can come across. The only thing, I am firm. There is a difference between being arrogant and being firm. I'm not somebody that you think I'll just be a walkover. And I wouldn't advise any lady to be that kind of person, to be a walkover.
What is your current relationship with your sister, the First Lady? She was one of the people who jubilated when you were announced as the winner of the elections in Kenema. She went on social media and she was dancing to celebrate your win. What's your current relationship with the First Lady?
I believe that we have a fantastic relationship.
Is she supporting your re-election bid?
I don't see, I wouldn't expect politicians to support me.
But she did in your first term.
No, you didn't see her prior to my election. What you saw was after I won, and she jubilated before I was voted in. Did you see her with me? No.
Is she still supporting you now?
I've just said I don't believe politicians should support me, so I don't go to them. This is purely professional. The people I go to are lawyers. If you're a lawyer and you happen to be a politician, yes, I will go after you for your support.
Like a football match, it seems now, they're, you know, though not betting, but there are associations with you and your opponent running against you. You've been linked to being supported by Chief Minister. She has been linked to being supported by the First Lady. Is there any truth to this?
No,
is this the reality of
these
what
are
the
just
elections is?
No, these are just rumors. As I said, and as you've rightly stated, the First Lady is my sister. And I'm not saying she's just a sister because we belong to the same political party. I'm Jabbi, she's Jabbi, and she knows the same blood runs in us. So whether we both accept it or not, we're sisters, that's one. Two, all these other people that you are calling are also brothers and sisters to me. Even within the family, you'd have things like that happen. So all of these people I know. But I go after lawyers. And after this interview, I'm going after my colleague right here. I'll campaign to him. It's up to him. It's his right to vote for me or not. So I go after lawyers. That's my constituent. This is purely professional.
You once had a close relationship, or sort of a good relationship with many of these people within your party now, who are also members of the Bar Association, who supported you during your first term, who have withdrawn that support and are now throwing it behind Martina. Again, what do you think went wrong? That some of those people who were once your supporters are now against you.
I don't believe anything went wrong. I mentioned this earlier in this interview, that it's people's constitutional rights. They allow people to freely support who they wish to support. I'm not going to coerce anyone. But I believe that my own work and my deeds will speak for me. We shouldn't coerce people.
But
to
have you
support
taken
it.
time in your private moment,
of course,
to reflect and get to a point of perhaps providing answers to yourself as to why would someone who was once on your side now go against you? And this is not just one. There are a couple of people who were supporting you, but they're now against you.
Were they genuinely supporting me? We don't speak about that. And I don't know if maybe I'm not giving the answer that you want. That's why you keep repeating it. Well, I've answered it. It's their right. Let people support who they so wish. All I will do is to speak to people, campaign to them, continue speaking to them, to believe in my own manifestos, what I have done in the past 2 years, to reason out and why they can vote for me.
Do you have a fallout with your party?
Why should I? Is this I'm not going for a political position, Phoebian. I don't want, I've told you this. Let's leave political parties out of this. I don't have any issues with any political party. What I am coming for is president of the Sierra Leone Bar Association, a professional body for only legal practitioners. Don't bring politics into this. Don't bring any political party into this, please.
Your personal affairs have also emerged, sort of. And there are others who are questioning, do you have the backing of your husband in your re-election bid?
Why should my personal life come on TV or anywhere absolutely in a public space? It's personal, and I'm pleading to you as a woman to leave my personal life out of this. I'm here to talk about the presidency of the Sierra Leone Bar Association. I'm legally married to Mohammed Gentu Kamara.
Madam Jabbi, your election remains one of the most divisive as stated by those who disagree with your elections. And you stated that you do not recognize Lawyers Society as an association. Have you made any genuine effort, to reach out to those who make up Lawyers Society, not as an organization, but as individuals? These are your senior colleagues and your junior colleagues within the profession. Have you reached out to them and say, listen, your association is in the rights game, but it's splitting the bar as we know it? Have you made efforts to ensure that you bring them over, even if they're not recognizing your legitimacy, but to support the Bar Association as an association?
Yes. I have. In the past 2 years, like I said, I really don't like calling names. I like to work behind the scenes with my colleagues. They have their consciences. They know I have reached out to them. And the other thing I see, because these are campaign banters. When elections come, people will do banter on social media. Maybe you would have seen them. But one of the things I was happy about was that some of them have actually paid up to attend that AGM. It matters not whether they're going to vote for me or not, but it shows that under my tenure, they have come to partake in the AGM, to go vote for their preferred candidate, partake and vote for their preferred candidate. So it shows. That alone shows a whole lot, and they will never be disenfranchised.
You stated that the Bar Association is a professional body, and it's devoid of the national politics, as we know. But it can be seen, even by the blind person, that most of, or if not all, of those who opposed your election are categorized as members of the All People's Congress Party. Aren't you concerned that even when you say the Bar Association is not a political body or should not be affiliated with national politics, aren't you concerned that these rhetorics are coming down to the Bar Association, that the bar is divided politically?
Sierra Leone is divided politically, not just the bar. But so if it's a concern, then it should be a concern across the board. Now, again, it's their constitutional rights. Why should they only belong to one? We don't have a one-party state. We don't. So it's their constitutional right to belong to the political party that they so wish. As I said, I'm happy that some of them have registered to take part in this year's AGM. And I'll be happy for that to happen. And apart from the bar politics itself, I have a personal relationship with most of them. We talk, we crack jokes. If we're doing briefs, we talk about it. So it's not that we see and don't talk. I keep saying this on every media platform that I go into, that that's not the kind of relationship that we have personally.
You campaign on the slogan, raise the bar. How much of the bar have you raised? And there are also campaign promises you made. One is having, a secretariat for the Bar Association. How far have you gone with the preparation or the construction of a secretariat of the Bar Association? And what held you down? Why are we not seeing, the foundation of the construction of a secretariat?
Thank you. So we, like you said, we have indeed raised the bar greatly. I'll just touch on them very quickly in about a minute. We, of course, spoke about having a private pension scheme for private practitioners. You can be a lawyer working for an institution, a company, or anyone else, because then you're mandated to pay the contributions and assets for your pensions. But if you're a private legal practitioner just in private practice, there wasn't a scheme before. So what we've done is to introduce that. We made sure that we try to push for international scholarships for people to go enhance themselves in the fields that they so wish to do. We did that. We gave out about 9 scholarships with the help of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And of course, we also got internships, to do internships at the United Nations in New York. We've got 3 of our colleagues that got that. But when it came to the processing of visas, it was about that time we had the issue with the ban. And after that, we also did workshops on the Criminal Procedure Act. And then we come to the land. We did promise that all of this is done in 2 years, by the way, 24 months to be precise. And what we also did was to acquire a land to make sure that we build a secretariat. The plan, as in the plan, the building plan, it's all there, everything ready to start construction. Then the law school saga came on. So we were asked to just put on hold because they've got 8 weeks mandate, the investigation committee, to investigate in the whole law school issue, because there's a whole lot of issues, and that's just a little bit part of it. So out of due process, we don't have any injunction or anything, but just to make sure that we do the right thing and we don't interfere with the investigations, we put that on hold. But everything is set and ready for that building to start.
And given the fact of the controversy that surrounded your election, the controversy is now with the preparation going into the AGM and all of the factions that we have, which you say you don't recognize, and all of these concerns, can you really guarantee members of the Bar Association that they will have a credible and fair election
100%.
as compared to what happened in
Definitely, and that's what I'm trying to do. Definitely. That is why I see concerns about people saying, oh, some will go pay in the bank, but they won't register them. Each and every, unless if there is an oversight, I'm human. But I will do everything humanly possible to make sure that each and every member that has paid in that bank account to be part of that AGM.
The Electoral Commissioner in the past election was questioned of how he handled, the election and the person of Francis Benkefala Esquire in that capacity. Is he going to be the Electoral Commissioner again for this election? Again,
I don't know. That's why I keep saying I will send you the M&A. And every media outlet I've gone, I said I'll send them the M&A. The M&A is clear as to how it's done. It says the members on that day would elect their returning officer, whoever they so elect.
Should members of the Bar Association vote you as the president again, and why?
Because I believe that I'm someone, when I say I'll do something and I promise, I deliver on my promises. I promised 2 years ago to do most of the things that I have done, and they've seen the efforts that I have made to make sure that that happens. With regards to the building, the only thing that has piped me down a little bit is the investigation. The minute it's done, we're cleared, you will see it's coming up. I'm that kind of person. When I say I'm doing something, I would go all out legally possible to make sure that it happens.
Tuma, do you think your success for re-election depends on who supports you?
It's like anyone else. When I say supports me, my colleagues, I want them to support me. I'm going to go speak to them. I continue speaking to them because without them, I won't win.
What happens if, because an election is a 50-50, you could win, you could lose.
Correct.
What happens if the elections doesn't go in your favor, you do not get re-elected? Would you still continue to be an active member and supporter of the Bar Association?
Yes. I have gone into elections before executive, SLBA, the association before, and lost. I ran for Secretary General about, was it 2014, 2015, or 2016, run about that time. I lost it. But I still became so active. I never stopped. Come on, this is not a do or die. It's not a do or die position. If I lose, I will still support. I've supported each and every executive before.
As you say, it's not a do or die, and elections come and go. The relationship between the members within the association would remain. In this moment, what would be your message to your supporters and the supporters of Martina and just all the sides involved in the electioneering process, from those who would vote to even those who are non-members of the Bar Association but who are still throwing their support? What would be your message to everyone?
My own message would be, firstly, let's campaign responsibly. And let's make sure that we do that with respect. What I have seen, I must be honest, I've seen people campaigning not having no regard for their colleagues. Some, not all of them. The way they campaign, the words they use, and we do have code of conduct that regulates lawyers. The General Legal Counsel is responsible for that. I would say that let's campaign within the confines of the law. Let's campaign within our code of conduct, and let's be respectful. It doesn't mean if you're my opponent, I need to be disrespectful to you. No. And I call on my supporters and the supporters of whichever side to say, let's be responsible, let's be respectful, and make sure that we respect our colleagues. As you have rightly said, Fabian, the relationship remains. Even if I win, even if I lose. Even the winning has a timeline, as in 2 years, it has a tenure. After that, we would have to still keep the relationship between us and our colleagues.
And what are the final dates you're working on, your executive working along, to ensure that you get to the AGM and the elections is done and dusted?
Yeah. Well, we're just waiting to get some clarities now with some venues. We're hoping, I don't want to say something here, and they said, but she went to AYV and she said it will be done this week, it will be done next week. But definitely, Fabian, is going to be done at the shortest possible time. And not only the dates will be within the 3 months, even the AGM is going to be within the 3 months. If possible, latest by next month. The AGM will be held.
Thank you very much for your time with us this morning.
You're welcome.
She is the current president of the Sierra Leone Bar Association, Tuma Adama Jabbi, and she's been talking about the Sierra Leone Bar Association generally and her re-election bid. This is Wake Up Sierra Leone here on AYV television. Now, Eastern Lions Football Club will be locking horns with mighty Blackpool FC in the FA Cup final on Saturday. Esther Samoa is currently at the Trade Center covering Eastern Lions training, and she joins us now live.
They can't start.
Hello?
Hello, good morning to everyone. We are live at Trade Center Field where Eastern Lions is currently preparing intensively for their FA Cup finals against mighty Blackpool. It's going to be a clash of the titans as the two giants of Sierra Leone football meet in such finals, and the winner will definitely represent the country in the CAF Confederation Cup. Well, we have the head coach of Easter Lions, Mohamed Lamin Kamara, and he's here to tell us more about his team's readiness ahead of this finals. Hello and welcome to AYV.
Yeah, thank you, Esther, and really good to you, viewers.
Of course, we saw the outstanding performance of Easter Lions in the semis against FC Cologne, and now you booked qualification to the finals. You'll be meeting mighty Blackpool, one of the tough contenders when you talk about Sierra Leone football. Tell us about your team's preparedness as you take on mighty Blackpool in the finals.
Just like you can see now, we have a very good turnout, and everybody's in very good form, and we've been preparing for this final because we know our motive for this season is to win the FA Cup, and going to the finals is something that we have been wishing to reach, and then winning the FA Cup is something that we think is very, very important for us as a squad, and then for management again, I think they'll be very, very happy if we can win this one. So everybody's happy, and then everybody is 100% fit for the FA Cup finals.
Because that's exactly the question I wanted to ask about the fitness of the team, considering the fact that even the Premier League, when it commenced, we saw a struggling Easter Lions. Now, coming to this stage, we've seen a huge improvement in the squad. So, do you think you're up to the task of winning against mighty Blackpool?
Yes, we're very comfortable that we're going to win. Yes, although we have high respect for mighty Blackpool because they, of course, a Premier League team and a very strong side in the Sierra Leone with a good record. But again, we are in a better footing going to the FA Cup finals, and I think if you watch us play this second round in the Premier League and our run in the FA Cup, we have scored the highest number of goals in the Premier League, and we scored the highest number of goals in the FA Cup. That tells you are in a very good footing. And looking at the squad now, we have no injury worries, we have no suspension. Everybody is fit and everybody is well determined to face mighty Blackpool. So we will not let our celebrations go astray.
So you are giving confidence to the supporters of Easter Lions that they should come on in numbers on Saturday in Bow to give their support to Easter Lions.
Of course, we would like to see all Easter Lions supporters there in Bow to cheer up the team, because we want them to be part of us bringing the trophy here in Freetown, and we want to have them around us celebrating the wonderful victory against mighty Blackpool.
So quickly, let's talk about this ongoing friendly match. Why not do it with a Premier team?
Yes, we started to choose our Abdoli, which is a very organized side, and we played them the last time. They gave us a very hell of time. But then having them now again for this one before going to Bo, I think it's been very nice for us because they are again very organized and very structured team as well.
Thank you very much. You've heard from the head coach of Easter Lions Football Club. As you can see from the bench, they do have a whole lot of players. These are players that are set to take on mighty Blackpool Football Club. Well, you have one of the experienced players after 15 years playing for the Sierra Leone Premier League with mighty Blackpool. And for the first time in 15 years, he has represented again a home-based team in this country, that is Easter Lions. Now, he will be going against his former club in the finals. That is David Simbo, the most experienced player in the squad of Easter Lions. Hello and welcome to AYV.
Hello, good morning. How are you, Esther?
So now, David Simbo, as one of the players for Easter Lions, what should supporters of the club expect from the players?
I think going on the game on Saturday in Boa, we've been working hard and training hard all season, and we have missed out of the Premier League, and then the only hope for Easter Lions is to win the FA Cup and go to the continental stage of Africa. So definitely on Saturday we are going to be out there to make sure we grab all the 3 points that's going to give us the victory.
So do you have mixed reactions considering the fact that you will be playing against your former club, I would say club that sets the pace for you for international outings?
Yeah, definitely. It's a historical day for me. me, playing against Mighty Blackpool, where I actually, got my breakthrough for over years. But today I'm here representing Eastern Lions, so my focus is on Eastern Lions. I'm going on Saturday. We're going to make sure we do everything possible that we're going to get the victory and give back to our fans and the chairman and the board member of this club. They're going to make everyone happy for the end of the season.
Thank you very much. You've heard from David Simbo, and he happens to be one of the most experienced players of Eastern Lions Football Club, as the stage is set for the finals of the Sierra Leone FA Cup that will be staged at the Southern Arena in Bo on Saturday, 20th of June 2026. And of course, AYV will bring you updates of that particular finals. I am your presenter, Mariesta Samura, reporting live from Trade Center in Freetown.
Thanks to Mariesta Samura there at Trade Center in Freetown, and we wish Eastern Lions and the Mighty Blackpool all the best in their encounter this Saturday. Of course, you're watching Wake Up Sierra Leone. My team didn't make it to the final, so.
Well, as a Bo Rangers supporter, I don't. What you do is okay.
We wish them all the best. We wish them all the best, and many thanks to Ambassador Anthony Navo Jr. And the team at Eastern Lions. Congratulations once more on playing the final of Sierra Leone FA Cup.
How the Premier League actually is going this season. The violence is reduced as compared to previous seasons. Before now, I took pleasure in attending the matches. There were times I'll travel to Bo and enjoy, but the violence had gotten to a point that I felt it wasn't safe, and it wasn't even making sense anymore to take time out to go to the field and support. But this season, it's really way better than previous seasons. The violence is really de-escalated. We hope they keep it that way and even improve on that as we go.
I think that the officiating is now better. We now have CAF licensed, referees, who are taking up jobs in the continent. So I think that may be a gain. Then Bobo Jama referee will be getting another again. So you can't complain of most of the decisions now, even though it will never stop in football. But we wish them all the best, even though my team FC Calon is not among. But we still wish them the best. And we are currently 7th, I think, in the Premier League. We know they do well. Not easy.
Yeah, God give you joy. Anyway, you're still watching or listening to us here on AYV Television and Radio, and this is Wake Up Sierra Leone. Don't forget, you can be a part of the conversation. Just utilize the comment section of our Facebook page, AYV News, and our YouTube page, AYV Media Empire. Just keep your comments and questions tailored to the conversation, and we also respectfully ask that you keep your submissions respectful.
Now, next to Youth Affairs, where the government of Sierra Leone, through the Ministry of Youth Affairs and partners, will be organizing a 3-day regional youth forum, bringing together young people from the 4 Mano River Union countries, Sierra Leone, Liberia, Guinea, and Cote d'Ivoire. It runs from the 18th to the 20th of June 2026 at the Bintumani Conference Center in Freetown, under the theme One Region, One Generation, and One Future. The 3-day MRU Youth Connect 2026 convenes young leaders, government officials, development partners, private sector actors, and regional stakeholders from the region on what future do we want for the MRU by 2025. Informing discussion throughout the summit and feeding into the development of the MRU Youth Compact 2035. This morning, to talk on the summit and youth development in Sierra Leone, we have the country's Minister of Youth Affairs, Ibrahim Sano. Mr. Minister, good morning and welcome to AYV.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Mr. Minister, we've been having summit upon summit upon summit. This summit is theme One Region, One Generation, One Future. What makes this summit different, from the other summits that we've had before?
The theme itself makes it different. You're speaking of one region, one nation, and one future. So it's a novelty. It's happening for the first time. In the sense, if you look at the 4 countries that constitute the Mano River Union, you can sense that we have shared predicaments, grappling with issues of social justices, we're grappling with issues of peace and security, grappling with issues of climate change, grappling with issues of course, agriculture or whatever, or even unemployment. And considering that the young people constitutes more than half the population or the demography when you put all the 4 countries' demography together. So that tells you the theme is different. It's happening for the first time. The reason being is we, as a country or as a ministries, Sierra Leone has taken the lead in several developmental initiatives relating to global acknowledgement. Of course, His Excellency the President has been championing that. So as a ministry, together with UNDP and other development partners, we thought it fit that. It is about fitting that 50 plus years ago when the MRU was founded in 1973, for us to have a youth confab wherein we can come and hone our ideas together, forming a compact, create the necessary integration. So this summit, the difference is that it's about integration. That is, you creating that kind of partnership between and among the participants in the 4 countries, even as ministers, so that we can channel or articulate youth issues. So, for example, maybe the initiatives we have in Sierra Leone, Liberia might be interested in it, or Guinea might be interested in Ivory Coast, or the ones Ivory Coast are doing, they will be interested in. Maybe there are other funding windows that we can access through this conversation. So that is one. So this is why this summit is quite different, because Mano River Union was founded in 1973 by 2 countries, Sierra Leone and Liberia. And then Guinea joined in 1980, and you have Ivory Coast that joined in 2008. But there has never been like a youth forum where we can articulate or discuss issues hinging or ranging to youth empowerment or development. So this is quite key, it's quite fundamental. It's for peace, it's for security, it's for trade, it's also about social integration. So you're creating that kind of nexus to ensure that we have that kind of integration and partnership built within and among the 4 countries, either in the areas of trade, in the areas of tech and innovation, in the areas of other developmental paradigms that we are yet really to tap into. But this is quite key, it's quite fundamental.
The summit is also talking about regional integration. One common issue among the countries within the Mano River Union is youth unemployment. There are concerns. How will this summit target issues like that? I'm asking because we're at a period wherein there are strained relationships, diplomatic relationships between countries within the Mano River Union. We know of the border issue between Guinea and Sierra Leone, Guinea and Liberia, and there is a drug-related concern within the Mano River Union. Whilst we have all of this, you're having a summit at the back of this. How concerned are you that this summit will capture these issues that are affecting young people currently, the issue of unemployment and the issue of drug?
So we have a whole the focus of the summit, basically, apart from the regional integration or peace, will be ranging on opportunities. I would hope to translate that integration into skills, opportunities, and job creation. I mean, creating that kind of environment, enabling environment, so that we have like a cross-cutting ideas. And then you mentioned about drug and other related issues. We have the UNFPA, IOM, and other agencies that are supporting what we call the youth peace and security. All of these constitute under the youth peace and security dialogue. But what is outstanding about the conference is that you've already laid the premise. So for over 50 years, we've not had young people within the region who are talking to each other, who've been talking to each other. You never know, this conference, the participants who will be attending this conference are definitely the future leaders. And you never know what will happen to them in the next 10 to 15 years. They will be the leaders who are championing their own leadership causes in Guinea or the other respective countries. I believe if such a social integration had commenced 50 years ago, bringing young people together, trying to actually imbibe in them that culture of socialism, of oneness, of one generation, seeing all of us within the region as one, I don't think we'll have been grappling with issues with border issues at this moment. And if you also look on the other side, for example, Liberia, you have a lot of trading that operates between Liberia and Sierra Leone, and you have much more trade that happens between Guinea and Sierra Leone. But we believe young people should not just be the ones who will always be the perpetrators of any other mayhem, but rather let them be the ones championing their own future. And this conference will lay the foundation for several other things. And our trade is just not really just limited to commodities. We even have mining. That you have several minerals in Liberia, of which you have the same in Sierra Leone. We have the same in Guinea. So it's that kind of like partnership you're creating, that these countries, as young people, will start talking to each other. So you can start seeing what is operating in Liberia that is positive, and you can emulate it in Sierra Leone. or in Ivory Coast. You can look, even the is it, how do you call the West African power pool that runs from Ivory Coast through Liberia and then Sierra Leone and Guinea. So you have all of these intertrading happening. But as a youth or as young people, we've not really had that kind of opportunity or platform to see how best we can hone our skills, share our ideas, and then create the enabling environment so that we can also have exchanges, even in terms of tourism and culture. Of late, you're seeing a lot of vehicles from Liberia coming to Sierra Leone, a lot of vehicles from Guinea coming to Sierra Leone. But as a region, we've not really tried to see how best we can market our touristic potentials. And that is why day one, we're going to have Ministry of Tourism and then the Creative Hub Sierra Leone. After the Vision and Leadership, which is the opening program, with His Excellency making the keynote, the 4 ministers from the Mano River are going to make statements. The 4 resident representatives of the United Nations are going to have what we call like a fireside chat or a panel discussion. All of these, we believe, as a country, we should champion, which we are championing, is for us, even at the UN level, so that they can have like a cohesive, kind of organized developmental trajectory to say, okay, this year, based on the predicaments of these countries, we are concentrating on this and this. And the other year, we can consider, or we can have like, now we are aiming at Agenda 2025, what Mano River Union we want to see. And so we are also having this critical discussion on day 3, wherein the ministers and the UN representatives and other development partners will discuss and chart the future. What MRU want to see by 2025? What are the critical milestones we want to achieve? We're going to set the standards right there. And so we'll now work within the ambit of those standards in a cohesive and structured manner, rather than everybody just going in a haphazard way.
Mr. Minister, youth analysts have argued that since the formation of the MRU as a body, in fact, this is the most time the region is peaceful. Since the 70s and the 80s, we've had, one political party systems in one country or the other. We've had military coups. We've had civil wars in Sierra Leone and in Liberia and Ivory Coast. And this seems like the perfect time. The whole region is a bit peaceful. Democratic government in Guinea, Sierra Leone, Liberia, and Ivory Coast. We're not dealing with issues of coup again in these countries. For the past 50 years, this has been the case, and youth within those countries have been involved in these activities. Is there a guarantee that Sierra Leone will spearhead youth involvement and youth improvement, looking at the vision you have for 2035, but also starting this period to ensure that youth within the Mano River Union see Sierra Leonean youth as the go-to example when it comes to making lives better?
Well, that's the essence why we are hosting this conference. The MRU itself, the initiative came from Sierra Leone through Shaka P. Stevens and then William Torban. They signed. The essence of the MRU was because of the Mano River that we shared. It was signed at Malen. So one generation handing over to another generation. And a lot of evolutions have taken place. And that's why we have stepped up now as a country, because we have the overall notion and objective. We are the initiators of it. That's why we've also initiated this, having the Youth Connect for the first time, bringing it down to the South region. And in partnership with even the Mano River Union itself, the United Nations Development Program, UNDP, and then even the Youth Connect Africa that is based in Rwanda. So it's a model we have emulated and bringing down to the South region. But to your point, Matia, let me just say this. Every generation has its own challenges and have its own focus or things that actually entices them. And our generation right now, if you check, we are quite exposed because of social media, because of internet, because of other things. Things that used to be like a whole a novelty or something that you never fathom or even think about. Now you can, from just the tap of your phone, you can see and integrate and interact. And so we are leveraging on all of these opportunities we have currently, although there are challenges, but we are leveraging on them and then trying to scale them up. But we believe more than ever, our focus is to ensure regional integration and then predicated upon peace and security. Because when you have peace, then you can talk about trade, you can talk about development. So peace is a bedrock of development and trade. So we believe bringing these young people together now, we start charting the way forward for ourselves. And we also start opening up. A few days ago, I was in Liberia, for example, on the invitation of YPL and then the Minister of Youth. And I was there and I graced the occasion. I was one of the speakers there. And I shared that, look, our solution to our problems is in our hands. We don't need to look further. All we need to do is to ensure we create the enabling regional integration environment that Liberia and Sierra Leone sees themselves as one country, Guinea and Sierra Leone sees themselves as one country, Guinea, Sierra Leone, Liberia sees ourselves as one country, and now Ivory Coast. Because these are the countries that share borders with each other. And as a result, whatever happens, for example, the war we had in Sierra Leone started in Liberia. So each time there is any political distortion, a political issue, any other issue in one country, the other two countries are affected. The Ebola we had came from, was it Guinea or Liberia? So these are all things we are looking at to say, look, it is high time, based on the MRU initiative, let us start cultivating the idea as young people to start talking to each other and charting the future, because we believe our future is in our hands, and more than ever, we should start moving in that direction. And that's why this MRU Youth Connect is bringing all the ministers of youth together from the 4 MRU countries. They've all consented to be here. We pray they will arrive safely. And we are also discussing the way forward, the region we want to see. And the essence, basically, we have to develop a compact. It's called the Vision 2035 Compact, MRU Compact. And in this compact, we're going to agree on what are the key challenges, or what are those challenges that we are facing as a region, the young people are facing. What are the opportunities? We get the development partners to look at it. And what are the low-hanging fruits that we can concentrate on? What are the medium-term and then the long-term plans that we can also concentrate on? So these are some of the fundamental bedrocks, or the essence of it. And then the highlight on the day 2 is going to be by our own First Lady, that's going to launch the Mano River Women's Initiative, Young Youth Women's Initiative. The essence, basically, His Excellency the President has done remarkably well in terms of gender and women's empowerment. The act alone is a stellar milestone. And so this has informed every other developmental discussion that you have to have the GUI at play. And so as a result of that, our First Lady will be launching the Mano River Women Youth Initiative program. The essence, basically, is to also create a platform for our young girls, or our youth girls, to ensure that they are not just on the table, but they are also leading the forefront in terms of championing women's or gender empowerment issues in the region. So this is a whole packed program ranging from peace, security, integration, technology and innovation, and then tourism. And that's why we are bringing the creatives in place in partnership with the Ministry of Tourism. So day 3 is going to be is slotted only for tourism, where we're going to showcase our own touristic potentials in Sierra Leone. We've had many people come into Sierra Leone, and in fact, for some of the people, when we say we are coming to Sierra Leone, day 3 is meant for tourism. Now we've had people registering from the 4 countries who don't even want to come through their line ministries, but we have a limited allocation for them.
Abraham,
but, yes, please.
There are many problems affecting young people across the Mano River Union. Some of those problems are similar across the Mano River Union, while others are unique to their specific locations. But again, some of these problems have been in existence for far too long, as way back as memory can serve any of us. What I want to understand is, what tangible outcomes do you expect this summit would lead to as a solution to some of those problems and barriers affecting young people?
Thank you very much. A good question, although I've actually been mentioning in path. So the tangible outcome is a compact. A compact in the sense, a blueprint. Phoebe, there is no way you're going to tackle any issue in an environmental community if you firstly don't understand what the issue or issues are and how are these issues emanated. and what are the contexts, the holistic contexts that are actually leading to these issues. So the first thing we believe is to have the plan, which is the compact, bringing the young people themselves with the ministers and development partners into one room. And then we discuss these issues.
No
and
pleasure
then,
interrupting you. I ask you this because almost all what you're saying is not new. There have been these conversations, there have been gatherings, whether it's a summit, it's a conference, you name it, organized by government or international partners. But some of those problems, as I earlier put it, still exist as barriers to young people achieving their fullest potentials.
I agree with you, but I believe this is the first time we are having the MRU.
So is it a question of figuring out the problem or a question of going to actually implement tangible solutions to the problems?
So, well, you are answering the same question with another question. So the problem
no,
is...
I'm merely asking you.
So, but yes, but you already answered it. So
I ask you because you said you would be looking at the problems affecting young people. So
no, we
I'm
are not
asking
looking at
again.
problems affecting young people. We try now for the young people themselves, together with us, the ministers, the policymakers, the development partners, to agree on the problems are there already. We know them, either subtly or tangibly. We feel them, we know them. But the essence of the summit is to bring all of us together and we agree in terms of scale of preference, the problems that are shared. Like I told you, our predicaments are shared. And then secondly, the solutions in terms of tackling these problems. So say, okay, we'll start with the low-hanging. For example, tourism. The 4 countries have got a lot of touristic potentials. But are we really tapping into these potentials and enabling the young people to engage into this tourist potential as a means of having a sustainable livelihood for themselves? So these are questions, fundamental questions that we'll be asking. What are some of the stumbling blocks that are preventing or serving as blockades in terms of young people accessing or harnessing the touristic potential? So these are some of the questions. While we ask these questions, we allow the young people themselves, based on all the panel discussions that we'll be having and the integration that we'll be having, for them to bring up solutions. And then let's come to even the youth peace and security, which deals with mental health and well-being, which deals with other youth peace issues or other peace-related issues affecting young people. So the problems are there. We are not oblivious to the problems. Rather, we are bringing the young people together, and it's happening for the first time. So, for example, in some contexts, Ivory Coast will say, oh, in our own context, in terms of drugs and substance abuse, these are the measures that we did, we implemented. And these ones worked, these ones didn't work. And Sierra Leone will say, okay, in fighting the Kush is a major drug affecting the young people. Or maybe in Ivory Coast, their own drug is different. Or in Guinea is different. But until we come together, Amphibia, there's no way you're going to solve societies or regional problems if you don't get the people who are the victims or the perpetrators together in one room, charting the way forward. So that's the essence. This conference is quite unique. I stand to be corrected, but I've never heard of one. It's happening for the first time. And it's quite exciting for us as Sierra Leone. And we intend to have not just...
What's happening for the first time? The conference itself? Because
the Mano River Youth Connect conference is happening for the first time. And together with the UNDP and other development partners, we have agreed that it's going to be an honest, sincere dialogue session, hearing from the young people themselves, and at the end of the day, developing a compact. So say, okay, in terms of peace and security, in terms of regional integration, in terms of trade, or in terms of tourism, these are the compacts. So now, don't forget, you have UNDP offices in all of the 4 countries. So when it comes to development now, relating to the young people, all the UNDP 4 regional member states will now agree to say, okay, we agreed on this compact based on the MRU Youth Connect. So we'll focus on this here. They will channel funds there. Together with us as a government, we'll also say, okay, based on this compact, the UNDP is supporting this. We as a government also should be seen aligning with that. So there's a whole lot of benefits. One, we want to align with development partners in saying that, okay, these are the focus areas based on the timelines in addressing the youth challenges in the region. Or these are the areas we embark on. For example, capacity sharing of knowledge exchange or capacity building. We want a youth in Ivory Coast to partner with a youth in Liberia and Sierra Leone in developing a technological app or a technological solution or in developing something. We want that kind of a partnership to say, okay, a Sierra Leonean youth.
But when they do that, what's the enabling environment, ecosystem, for them to even translate that into an amplifiable solution to the problem, and then also a sort of employment or monetary gain to them? I ask you this because when you put this across, we've had in Sierra Leone some of these conferences bringing together young people from different parts of the Mano River Union on innovation, on technology. We've seen the beautiful solutions that some of them have been able to come up with. An example could be Oswald, for example, who sort of brought in a solution to energy using just water from the sea, the salt water from the sea. But it comes back to, you bring these young people, they share the ideas. At the end of the day, it ends at the conference. What becomes the tangible transition or impact in their lives and in their communities beyond the conference?
So that's a brilliant question. It's a brilliant point. So I'll take Oswald as an example because I was the deputy minister at communication. We traveled and I led that travel, which was Oswald with the other young man who did the keke thing and a host of other young startups to South Korea under the Quaker project. The goal was we tried to expose them to the Quaker startup, the South Korea startups, and how they also navigated to be where they are. But the difference with that is, in some of these other countries, you have the private sector investing into those initiatives, unlike what we are facing. So that is why the essence of this conference is quite important. Like Oswald you have mentioned now, if Oswald should attend the Mano River Youth Conference, Oswald will partner with other youths from other countries to say, okay, I have this brilliant idea, but I'm still struggling with funding. Maybe somebody in Ivory Coast will say, okay, Oswald, you know what? We'll be having some program. We'll bring you to Ivory Coast so that you can share your idea. Maybe you can get some funding. So that's the essence we are having this conference. So, or somebody in Guinea will say, okay, I have this, I did this, I created this, because in the letters that we sent to them, they should bring their own creatives and they should bring their own artists as well, because it's going to be climaxed with a cultural night. We are going to showcase our culture. We have done some studies, Phoebe, and I'll tell you, and I'm sure you agree with me. The region has got a very beautiful and outstanding culture to showcase, which we are to even tap into. And so we have, for example, the Freetown players in Sierra Leone. We have those at the Ministry of Tourism. How do you even call them? The tourist people, the cultural tourist people, who showcases outstanding performances at events. Guinea also have theirs. Liberia have theirs. Ivory Coast have theirs. So it's a thing that we are even bringing them together. And in some of the discussions that we had, we even said, okay, maybe in the future, at subsequent MRU events, we can now have like a cultural display competition. We're just trying to trigger something for this first one. It's a trigger we are doing, and we were so grateful to UNDP and the entire UN office and the other development partners who supported the initiative, because we brought it up together with them and they supported it, and now look at where we are. So as a country, we have a lot to show. For example, the Minister of Youth for Liberia said to me, he said, Honorable Minister, I'm so happy that you are here. He said, I've been in your country several times on vacation, incognito. I said, oh, don't wonder I see a lot of Liberian vehicles coming to Sierra. He said, yes. He said, I visit number 2 beach, Toke Beach is where we stay most of the time. He said, we go to Kent. He said, your beaches are quite beautiful and therapeutic. I said, wow, it's good to know. And all of us were in the room, and some Guineans were in the room. They also agreed to the fact that they come to Sierra Leone often and again. So this is why we have brought tourism in in this conference, because we believe Ministry of Tourism have the expertise and we want to showcase the Sierra Leonean touristic nature. Often and again, you have conferences, we don't even prioritize Sierra Leonean resources, what we have. We don't like showcasing the beauty of our country. But now look, we're going to take them to Takugagama, we're going to take them to Leicester Peak, we're going to take them to Kent, the Gate of No Return, we're going to take them to Eden Park, and we're going to have like a social evening wherein they'll explore our beautiful beaches, and then we have the cultural night display where we can also showcase Sierra Leonean culture and other cultures that we'll be bringing. So we believe this conference is quite important. It's not the usual conferences. We have seen the future. That's why the theme is quite deliberate. It's one region, one nation, and one future. So it's quite deliberate to say that let us come together as young people for the first time, being deliberate to say we don't need to look further for the solutions to our problems. We already know our problems. We already know our shared predicaments. But what are those solutions that we can now collectively come together, creating that nexus of synergy to ensure that our one solution can fit all. And then one problem or one solution can speak to the problems that we all share. Let me just say this, because I'm in agriculture. Guinea produces a lot of food, but most of the food Guinea produces are not sold in Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone produces a lot of gari, but I will tell you 80-85% of our gari that we produce are sold at the Guinea border, taken to Guinea and Ivory Coast. I remember we went to Ivory Coast for a meeting while at the Ministry of Communication, and I said I wanted acheke, and I said, oh, this gari is so nice. The guy one of them who speaks English said, this gari is from Sierra Leone. And I said, I'm from Sierra Leone, and I was giving discount to pay. And I said, wow, so the Sierra Leonean gari reaches Ivory. He said, yes, so we only buy Sierra Leonean gari. It tells you our gari is pure, it's clean, and then it's also sweet to eat. So these are some of the things that we want to share with the youth community. To say, hey, look, we can grow a lot of cassava. We have gari. Let's see how we can collaborate. That's why we are bringing a lot of startups to this conference so that we can have exchange of ideas.
Today, June 16, is a day that normally people would celebrate with different occasions, and again the history of the day came by solidarity with South Africa, but we see through the media what's going on in South Africa. As the country's Minister of Youth, what would be your message to young people in Sierra Leone and perhaps young Sierra Leoneans living in South Africa if they stumble upon this interview? What would you say to young people?
My message, I'll start with the South Africans. South Africa should play the big brother role for Africa. That's why it's the only country that has got Africa to its name. It's called South Africa. So it tells you, it's a rainbow nation. So it tells you that South Africa, it's a conglomerate. It constitutes, or it's cosmopolitan in the sense that it houses a lot of Africans. Yes, we agree, migration issues here and there, but they should see Africans as their brothers and sisters and not the other way around. And to us Africans generally, if South Africans are acting that way, it's not every South Africa in South Africa that believes in that concept. Let us don't ostracize them. Rather, let's see how we can embrace them and see. I believe in dialogue more than ever. I believe in dialogue.
All right.
And I have also participated in several June 16 commemorations while in my primary school. And we were the ones being called to give speeches at that time to say this was the day children are massacred in Soweto. I've been to South Africa. I've been to Vilakazi Street, and I saw even where the guy who had the first shot and everything. And so it's just to say, okay, we're all Africans. Let us see how we can embrace each other.
Thank you very much,
Thank you very much,
Ibrahim,
Mr.
for being
Minister.
with us. He's the Minister of Youth Affairs.
And this is where we'll end today's show of Wake Up Sierra Leone Tuesday edition. I'd like to say many thanks to our sponsor, Local Commercial Bank, for their support to the program, and to our other advertisers. To our audience, we appreciate your time. Apologies, we didn't have enough time to look at your messages today on Facebook, but continue to watch AYV. I am Bokari Matia.
And I am Phoebe Swill. Have a lovely day. Take care and bye for now.
Only they can see